Okay, Emmanuel and Harrison, let's follow up some stats and some comments from the practice set. First of all, tomorrow morning, bring me a copy, diagram, because all you need is a piece of paper, diagram a tennis court, and diagram the 7 concepts. Okay? You both are playing great tennis in so many ways, especially for your age. Seeing you come to the net, playing all over the court. Most kids your age are not playing that way. Red, yellow, green. In the red zone, we got defensive, neutral, offense, Emmanuel. Too many times in the neutral area, you run around your backhand. Also, too, you like to come to the net, but you have to be more patient, wait for the right ball. You have to know how many steps it takes from the time you hit your approach shot to the time you hit GVP. Okay, so you haven't been here in a few months, but homework. You diagram, both of you, the 7 concepts on the tennis court. Tomorrow I'll give you these stats. Okay? Too many times in tennis what happens is tennis players are just giving. Well, tomorrow you give me this, I'll give you this. Deal? All right, now, we want to look at much more than just the unforced errors, but Harrison, you missed 7 forehands and 7 backhands out of a total of 56 points. Okay? So 25% of the time you're just missing a routine ground stroke. So 1 out of 4 points, you're missing a ball. Watch Nadal. He's so great. He gets really, really upset. He controls that. But if you get courtside and watch him, he doesn't like to miss. Nadal was asked, how do you beat Nadal? He said, don't miss and be really aggressive. That's when Nadal said you beat Nadal. Emmanuel, you missed 11 forehands. You were even with Harrison, 7 backhands. But you missed 32% of the points with unforced errors. Okay? Now, let's go through a few more things. 65%, I like that stat better than 78%. You need to try to do more on your first serve. You're actually hitting too many slice serves. You served and volleyed 4 times. Harrison, you served and volleyed once. No aces, but that's very common at your age. 2 double faults. You want really a 1-to-1 ratio between aces and double faults. That's really where the pros are. Obviously, you'd like to be better where you're hitting more aces. The net points, this is where you guys stand out in comparison to most players your age. 56 points played, and it was 2-all, no ad scoring, tiebreaker at 6-all. Harrison, you came in 18% of the points, total of 10. You won 40%. Emmanuel came in almost twice as much. This is a pro stat. He came in 34% of the time. You won 58%. I love the fact that you have instincts to go forward. Just be a little more patient. Make sure you come in on the right ball. Don't run around your backhand. Hit a forehand from the neutral area. That's not something that's going to support a net rusher. Okay? Inside the court, for sure. When you're right in here, you can play an offensive forehand. When it comes down to the point distribution, it's close. And it's amazing how close it is. 26 points to 30. 26 points to 30. Harrison on returns. Harrison, you got 21 returns back in play out of 25. But both of you would like to see it be much more aggressive on second serve returns. So we have a ball that's hit 3 ways, plus, minus, IP. Plus is strong, minus, IP. Neither one of you came to the net on an approach shot returning. So that's a pattern that you could think about utilizing. But again, it's good to see that you serve and volley. But again, coming to the net. With points 1, forcing. Unforced errors and winners. Okay, the points end 3 ways. With winners and unforced errors, and points 1 forcing, you come up with a differential. Okay, now understand this, so when I ask you, you have a plus column and a minus column. The only thing that goes in your minus column are unforced errors. What goes in your plus column are points 1 as outright winners and points 1 forcing. Now, with Harrison, you were at a minus 9. Okay, and you were at a minus 5. Okay, where do we get that? That's why you have to come back and reduce this number. You have to reduce the amount of unforced errors you make. if you make the ground stroke error long versus wide or in the net. Now, let's just go through that one more time. You have a plus column. What goes in the plus column are points 1, where you hit an outright winner, plus plus, or you force your opponent into a minus F. You force the error. What's the only thing that goes in your minus minus column? Unforced errors. So when it comes down to, you had 21 unforced errors. This is actually Harrison, 21 unforced errors. And you had 20, so we have to reduce that number. Right? So let's just sum this up by saying, guys, it's great to see you play all over the court. You have to reduce unforced errors. You have to pride yourself on going forward and being aggressive. You have to understand where you're winning points, where you're losing points. You want to be managed more by stats. Okay? Unforced errors, okay, you reduce those. Then you keep the ball in play. You wait for your opponent to hit short. The approach shot's not an outright winner. You miss some approach shots. When you hit an approach shot, you want your opponent to hit a passing shot. Question for Harrison. When you miss, where do you want to miss? In a point-ending situation. In a ground stroke, when you say miss long, but when you miss in a point-ending situation. So you get more overheads, more volleys. Okay? So besides knowing these 7 concepts, for tomorrow, when I ask you, you need to be able to explain to me what's your plus minus, what's the differential. Point only ends 3 ways. You have the plus column, and then you have the minus column. Only thing that goes in the minus column are your unforced errors. What goes in your plus column is where you hit winners and where you force your opponent to make a mistake. So it's great to see that you guys play all over the court, play aggressive tennis. Most kids your age, they just play one-dimensional tennis. They just play from the baseline. All right, bring your homework tomorrow. All right?